Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah, Jujube DIY. Thanks so much for stopping by. Let's get right into the crafts. Today you're going to do one of these churches from the Dollar Tree and a 5x7 canvas. Next you're going to separate that bottom piece from the church. Now I think after working at it for a very long time that the easiest way to do this would have just been to take my box knife and score it a couple of times and then break it from the stand. So if you're going to do this project, that is my recommendation, to separate the stand from the church. Next I took this canvas and I gave it a base coat of the Waverly chalk paint and plaster, and before it was dry I'm mixing this blue color is Nantucket blue and from Folk Art, and a little bit of plaster mixed together. And then this brown color is the Apple Barrel Burnt Umber. And there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here with the paintbrush. I'm just swiping it across my canvas. All the paint is wet so that it blends together. This orange color is peach, sun-kissed peach. So I gave the church also a coat of the Waverly plaster, and now I'm going back in with that plaster and Nantucket blue mixture, and I'm just going around like the roof line there with that. And then taking a smaller paintbrush and the burnt umber, I am just going to kind of, it's not a dry brush, but I'm just going to kind of paint that color in a very soft way all over the church. And I'm going in one direction because I kind of wanted it to look like maybe old wood or, you know, some siding or something on this church. My inspiration was from a Pinterest picture that I had seen. Somebody had done a painting online, and so when I saw this church I knew I had to kind of recreate that painting with this. So I'm taking one of these chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree. Now I know some crafters really have a lovely time with these, but I am not a fan. The bristles just fall right out, and I tried to tape it down there with some duct tape, and I even took the handle off and like poured in a ton of hot glue, and it still didn't keep those bristles from falling out. So I did go ahead and use it for this project that had already started it, but it went right into the garbage after I was done. So this is just the Apple Barrel Burnt Umber, and I am just dry brushing that onto the church and the canvas. Like a light, lighting up in the dark. Next we're going to put our church onto our canvas, and I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. Every time you make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since I forgot the most simple words. I feel cold when you're around, like nothing can break me. Now I wanted this to have some dimension to it, so I am taking more of the sun-kissed peach. I think that's what it's called. I'll leave, as always, all of the paint colors and everything that I use in my description box down below. So if there's anything you're looking for, make sure you head down to that section and you'll usually find the list of everything I used. So I'm just kind of painting this on. I want it to kind of look like a sunrise or a sunset, just some different kind of interest in the sky there. And then I'll go in and I will paint the windows with the pewter gray Apple Barrel color to make it look, you know, my idea for this church is to make it look abandoned and old and like that, you know, people don't go here anymore, but well, I'm highlighting the cross here a little bit with that orange too. I thought that would be pretty, just to make it look like the cross was glowing kind of. So yeah, at this point I'm taking some of this dried, I don't know if this was like baby's breath or what kind of a flower it was at one point, but it's just some sort of a dried floral. And I am just taking off a few sprigs of it and I'm gluing it to the side of the church. Like I said, I wanted this to look like an abandoned church, like it had been sitting here for a long time. So I'm taking some of this reindeer moss and I'm just hot gluing it to the bottom of the church as well. And I'll add a little bit to that first roof line right above the door too. And I'll just use my scissors to make it, you know, nice so that it's not like hanging off the bottom of the canvas. And then I just added some little purple flowers at the bottom here. Just wanted it to look like maybe some little wildflowers are growing there too. And then I'm just going to use this rose gold pen and I'm going to say write out, let go and let God. And that finishes up that piece. So here's a look at how it turned out. I love this and I am so proud of it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. So moving on to our second DIY, this was one of those silver platters from the Dollar Tree. They're kind of heavy duty and you can find them with like the serving stuff. So I gave it a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in plaster. And here I am just using a stiff paintbrush and some elephant chalk paint, Waverly Elephant. And I'm just going over all the little details on the side of the tray and then just adding some little scuff marks in the bottom. This is one of those plaques from the Dollar Tree and I painted it with the Waverly Ballet slipper and I'm dry brushing it with the plaster. And then I'll also add some of the mineral on top of that as well with this chippy brush. So after that was done, I am just freehanding what I want to put on here. So it's going to say Rose Cottage Inn, and there really was no rhyme or reason to Rose Cottage Inn. My youngest daughter's name is Rosalie, and we call her Rose often, and so, you know, kind of Rose is, you know, it's in my heart, I guess, a little bit, but I just had some roses and I thought Rose Cottage would be fun. I don't know, could have been anything. Could have been Lavender Cottage Inn, or I don't know. So I've got these roses I picked up at Michael's and I just separated them out from the bundles that they were in, and then I'm just taking some of the oh my gosh, why can't I ever think? The zip ties, that's what they are. Taking some zip ties and I am zip tying them together so that they cascade down the side of this platter. And I'll just use a little hot glue in the back to make sure that they stay where I put them in the zip ties. And then I'm taking some of this lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree and I'm just gonna wrap those bottom stems up with this lace ribbon just to hide the ugly green stems. And then I decided that I wanted to add some gold details into this tray as well because of the gold writing. So I am just taking that gold paint marker from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going around and lightly adding a little bit of gold here and there. And then I used whatever was left over on my brush to just dry brush over the top of the gold writing. I'm just gonna hot glue that onto the tray. And then I'm just gonna hot glue this little bouquet onto the tray as well. Now I'm not using a whole ton of hot glue because, you know, as a crafter, as a YouTube crafter, very often things like flowers and what have you get reused. So I will probably end up reusing these florals in something else down the road. And so I didn't want them to be attached super well. But if this is your project and you're going to keep it around for a long time, you'll definitely want to make sure your roses are nice and attached with lots of hot glue, or even some super glue or E6000 maybe, I don't know. I'm putting a hanger on the back with some more of that lace and just some hot glue. And here you can see that it's one of those silver trays from the Dollar Tree. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the and here's a look at how it turned out. I think it is so cute. Even though my writing was a little crooked on the cottage part, I think it looks, you know, authentic. So I love how this turned out. I think it's just beautiful. And for our third DIY of the day, this is the last one. We're gonna take one of these signs. This, I believe, was I think it said love on it from Valentine's Day. And it's just one of those signs that has like the shiplap marks in it. So I'm just measuring off however much I want and then using my blade to score it until I can break it apart. I love using these kinds of signs for littler signs or things like this because they are so easy to break apart, and you can do so much with them. So I'm just taking my box knife and then I'm just making those grooves a little bit deeper because sometimes they're not super deep and then it just kind of looks weird when you paint over it. So I had painted this with apple barrel, burnt umber, and black mixed together, and now I'm just dry brushing it with the mineral from Waverly. And here is just some regular burnt umber that's just without any black in it, and I'm just dry brushing that over the top as well. Now I cut 3 of these 1-gallon paint sticks and I painted them with the Waverly agave. And then I had one of these little palettes and I also painted it with the agave. And then I had a 5-gallon paint stick that I had cut down and I painted it with the celery. And then I'm going to dry brush over all of it with the mineral. So I apologize for this video being so late. I was really under the weather this last week and just could not get things together to get my video out on time. So I apologize. I hope you guys will forgive me. So next we're going to just stick all these elements together to create our little sign here. So I'm using some hot glue to attach the paint sticks to the back of the palette. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 paint stick to each side first because it isn't completely even all the way in the back, if that makes any sense. There's going to be a little bit of a gap in between the paint sticks. So I wanted to add the side pieces first and then add that middle piece so I could even it out in between the other 2 pieces a lot easier, if that makes any sense. I think you'll see what I'm talking about for sure once we get to it here. And you can see there's just a little gap in between each of those paint sticks. So I just want it to look even. And then eventually I'll attach that on there. So I did measure this out and I am marking the sides of it and the bottom so that I can get that back to where it is even on both sides. So I'm putting this paint stick. Now, When I cut my paint stick, there were 2 pieces left over. There was the piece that measured exactly across this little sign here, and then there was this piece, and I accidentally glued this piece on instead of the other piece, but it's fine. It worked out just fine, and I just used my level to make sure that it was on there straight. And then I'm just gonna glue this part on top of that sign. So then I'm taking some of those Scrabble letters and I just attached them to this popsicle stick. And one of those letters is not like the other. Let me know in the comments down below if you see what I see. Next, I'm gonna take this twine and I'm just gonna wrap it around the top of this sign a couple of times. Clipping off the back, and then I'm gonna add a hanger with just more of that twine and the hot glue. And I will put some masking tape over the top of the hot glue before it dries. And that really attaches everything together quite well. That's a trick from Holly at Hot Humble Pie, and that's where I learned that trick. Next, I'm gonna take some of this lavender from Walmart, and then this other little floral pick that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna put some of those in there. And I thought that this sign turned out so sweet and so cute and just perfect for the middle of a wreath, or if you wanted to hang it on a door. Like, I've got a little ladder that I have outside my front door that I hang stuff on, and so that's probably where this one will live. But I just love how this one turned out. I think it's just really pretty and just, I don't know, there's just something kind of rustic and pretty about it. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you like what you've seen here today, please go down to that red button down below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And also let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. And if you're still here, leave me a little heart emoji to let me know that you're still here at the end. I really do appreciate you, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you took time out of your day to spend with me. And I hope you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day. And I will talk to you next time.